The Department of Justice is moving to crush big tech as Facebook actually bans a Trump ad attacking Antifa. In this video, we're going to look at that absurd censorship move by Facebook and see how it's about to get stomped by new measures taken by the federal government to ensure that the days of big tech's discrimination against conservatives are indeed coming to an end. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. The doctor is in the house, as I said in our last video, but the doctor happens to be here in Harrisburg today for the Association of Classical Christian Schools annual Repairing the Ruins conference. I look forward to it every year. I'm here with some of my colleagues, and we're part of a simulcast along with dozens of other satellite locations across the country for this conference. It's really just wonderful. But I did want to make sure we had a little time to chat about the federal government and how it's poised to crush big tech. But first, I want to give a warm welcome to all of our first-time viewers. If this is your first time here at this channel, this is your daily white pill of encouragement, where we each and every day celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and, yes, the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss a single video where we analyze current events and analyze some super awesome conservative trends so that you can live in the present light of even better things to come. We help you to think better so that you can feel better, all right? And make sure you click on the link below and check out the awesome video that we put together just for you, featuring our brand new Turley Talks Insiders Club. You're not going to want to miss this. We're so thankful to those of you who've already signed up for it. And you know, you're just going to love being a part of this army, this massive group of conservatives from all over the world to network with. Now, by becoming a member, you get more exclusive access to me and our journey together into this awesome new conservative age we're embarking on. Each week, you get a special deep dive video reserved solely for our Insiders members. You'll get my monthly reading list to keep you updated on the best and most enriching information that's out there on the rise of a new conservative age. You get a number of bonus videos, and you even get some awesome swag, some accessories like our Turley Talks tumbler to drink your coffee in, or like I said, whatever beverage of choice yours happens to be, all for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. So do not wait. Make sure to click on the link below, watch the video on the Turley Talks Insiders Club to just get a fuller sense of what you're going to be a part of. This offer to join for such a low price is for a limited time only, so click on the link. It will be an absolute privilege to journey with you into this new conservative age together. All right, gang, we've got some great stuff. Let's dive right in here. The Department of Justice is taking aim at the liability shield that big tech companies currently hide behind as they discriminate against conservatives, censoring and deplatforming conservative voices from among their ranks. Attorney General Bill Barr has in fact announced that they are drafting measures that would weaken the legal protection that big tech has been exploiting by revising this 1990s law known as Section 230. Now, if you're not familiar with what this involves, Section 230 of the Federal Communications Act is a statute that protects online platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Google's YouTube from being held liable for content their users post on their sites. And this section 230 gives big tech the kind of immunity that utility companies get, like phone companies. So social media right now is treated legally as a utility. Big tech has been legally recognized as our modern public forum. So we communicate publicly through these platforms like we used to do on the phone, right? And as such, these platforms are granted immunity by the federal government from being sued if someone uses the platforms in an unethical manner, just like the phone company, right? They can't be sued if someone uses a phone to arrange a terrorist act. And that's because the phone company is a legally recognized utility, which is no more responsible for how people use their services than, say, the electric company, right? So big tech has been granted legally this immunity, and yet they've arrogated themselves to playing moral policeman and banning certain voices and opinions while allowing for others. So imagine that AT&T, right, one of our major phone companies here in the States, imagine AT&T listened in on one of your conversations and then decided that they were going to terminate your account because they didn't like your political opinions, right? That's what big tech, in effect, is doing here. That's what Facebook's been doing. That's what Twitter's been doing here. They're acting like editorial publishers who of course are responsible for the content that they publish, even though they've been granted immunity from what they're publishing. So take a look at the latest absurdity coming from Facebook. You ready for this? If you can believe that, well, of course you can believe it, but Facebook actually banned an ad. They removed an ad from the Trump campaign the other day. And do you know what that ad was guilty of doing? It attacked Antifa. It attacked Antifa, and in the cultural Marxist world of Facebook censors, they removed the ad because it supposedly fell under their policy of prohibiting what they call organized hate. Now let that hit you. It's a commercial denouncing the violence and mayhem and horror that Antifa has unleashed upon our nation, and pointing that out is now organized hate. It's now itself considered organized hate. I mean, it's utterly Orwellian. At issue is the Trump campaign's use of Antifa's symbol of a red and black upside-down triangle. Again, keep in mind, this is Antifa's symbol, not the Trump campaign's. And what happened apparently is that a bunch of leftist groups complained to Facebook about the use of the symbol and how it looked too similar to Nazi symbols. Yeah, that's the point. But Facebook, in its upside-down logic, banned the ads that were pointing out the evil nature of the organization that these leftist groups were actually supporting. These leftist groups got the Trump ad banned by pointing out the symbolism of the Antifa organization that these leftist groups support, saying it was too Nazi-like. Now, if you can make sense of that, you missed your calling. So this is what's so enraging among those of us on the political right. Big tech like Facebook, Twitter, and all, they're censoring political debate in favor of the left. And so one study from a prof over at Columbia University found that Twitter censors conservatives over liberals at an astonishing 21-to-1 ratio. 21-to-1 in terms of censoring conservative content. And in doing so, they're acting like publishers who take legal responsibility for what they publish, while at the same time taking advantage of legally recognized immunity from what they publish, right? And so it's that contradiction that many have said has to at some point be rectified. It has to be resolved. Either they're utilities, in which case they have to remain neutral and refrain from interference in the communications of their customers, or they have the right to censor, but then they have to be held accountable for what gets published on their platform, since they're the ones who have the final say on that, right? So as far as I see it, this has absolutely nothing to do with them being private companies. I think they're monopolies. Remember, big business can be just as damaging to society as big government. Don't ever forget that. Big business can be just as damaging to society as big government. Now, it is, of course, this all started with President Trump's executive order that he signed a few weeks back. The executive order instructed the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, to write up a series of guidelines for American social media companies, big tech in general, that will define what content should not be removed from their platform. So we have clear lines drawn here. And now we're seeing the Justice Department getting involved here, explicitly removing the liability immunity that has shielded these big tech companies as utilities. Now, the goal, of course, is to get big tech to buckle in this, to recognize that they now can and will be taken to court by the federal government, by the Justice Department, which, of course, can make your life very, very difficult, especially for these big tech companies. Keep in mind, this is actually very, very clever here. Very important to keep this in mind, what Bill Barr is doing here. It doesn't have to be examples of big tech discriminating against and censoring conservative voices for the lawsuits to start flying. Once the immunity is removed, the Justice Department could go after big tech for all kinds of things. Cyber stalking, child exploitation, drug trafficking, you name it. So this is obviously the last thing Zuckerberg and Dorsey want, okay? They want that immunity protection maintained, and all it takes is the Justice Department to make some key moves here to threaten big tech until they cry uncle, right? And they lay off conservatives, and I think that's what's going on here. So we'll obviously be keeping an eye on how things develop, but there's no question that the Justice Department, at the behest of President Trump, is ready to crush big tech if needed. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on a new poll that just came out, shows that a majority of the country believes that Joe Biden is in fact in the early stages of dementia. And I argue that that's it. That's the election in a nutshell. It's over. Trump has won this. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. Back to the conference from me. God bless.